Let's keep panning back and forth. Further left. Well, the scope of this, you got to be worried. I mean, how do you keep track of that with so many homes that are on fire right now? And one thing I don't know if we've mentioned in a while, this was an apartment building under construction, so no one was living there. It's like the one you see at the bottom of the screen as well. We'll go ahead and pull back and show you the scale of this apartment complex. We'll go to the left a little bit, show you what we think are occupied buildings as we pan over to the left, and you can see that is a very modern-looking, brand new complex. Those two that are in the center of the screen, both under construction. The one on the top of the screen, unfortunately now involved in flames as well. So a big sprawling complex, if you want to call it that. One building in ruins, that one not occupied again. So we're not anticipating any injuries to any residents, of course, but the under construction, a lot of times we will hear that there was some sort of a piece of construction equipment that was responsible for setting the fire, and you got to wonder if that's what they're going to find here. But that second building there, the one just to the east, to the top of the screen, is what we're still concerned with. They are now getting two lines on that. However, none from the east side, which is where this seems to be spreading a little bit. And then we'll pan to the right, and it looks like they've kind of, I don't want to say given up, but it's at this point, what can Overland Park firefighters do to those two houses that are fully engulfed now just to the north of that fire? The heat, by the way, we can still feel at altitude from that original fire in the apartment complex. Well, follow along with us here, and we'll see what we have. We have the two homes that are now fully involved in flames. We know the home to the left of the one that you see with all the fire now did have flames coming from it. Across the street, we still have that house in flames. It looks like in the backyard of the house next to it, something is burning. That could be embers, of course, from this fire that we've been talking about. Then the house behind that, if we continue panning left, is on fire. There's another one in that neighborhood on fire. In fact, two houses there on fire. And then we go about another block or so in a cul-de-sac, another house that is on fire. Looks like they have that one pretty much under control. And then even further south here, about a half-mile away, it looked like they were making pretty good progress with this house, and now we're seeing even more smoke. So the embers from this initial fire, the apartment complex going up, and that wood frame building, the embers flying, and obviously they've done their damage this afternoon. I'm sorry, Chris, was that for me? Yeah, that's going to be Neiman at about, I believe, at about 115th, 116th Street, and yeah, 117th it could be, as a matter of fact. That's the farthest we've seen the fires here. But I've been trying to count. There's one. They did get one pretty much under control. It was just a roof fire there, we believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm counting 8 now. 8 houses that could have been affected by this fire and set by the initial fire and the embers that were flying through the air. That they did get under control there. We'll start with that and then we'll pull back. Yeah, 2 or 3 just to the south of that, and that is testimony to how intense this fire was. That was spontaneous combustion there just from the heat. You can see some arcing in the backyard of one of those houses. You know, Chris, the Overland Park Fire Department training facility is legendary. I mean, there are fire departments that come from around the country to train there, and they train for all different kinds of scenarios. You wonder if they ever train for 7 or 8 residence fires at the same time that they have an apartment fire. Started with the apartment fire, within probably half an hour, 45 minutes, they're working several more residence fires. I don't know if you can train for that, and I don't know if one department can properly respond to that, but they've done a heck of a job. There's just only so much you can do in a situation like this, and talk about spread thin. You've got to imagine that they really still have their hands full. You can see I don't even see any water going on those 2 houses that were just to the south of the original building. By the way, that is what you're looking at, all that's left of the original apartment building. As we pan to the left a little bit, we're going to show you that is the building, I believe, still under construction. I don't believe it's occupied. That is what the other building that you see in rubble, in ruins there, looked like about an hour ago before it caught fire. Yeah, maybe a little bit further south than that as well. And just imagine if a fire is hot enough to set houses on fire 50 yards away, then you can imagine what firefighters were facing when they arrived here. You just can't get anywhere near that kind of heat. So with it completely, fully engulfed in flames, and again, this is a wood frame structure. That's why you're seeing it just, again, as smoldering timbers down there. All wood, no metal frame left at all. So with that, plenty of fuel for the fire. Under construction, of course, you have to imagine no sprinkler system working or anything like that. The firefighters, it was a lost cause by the time firefighters arrived for that apartment building. And then, of course, when you're working 5, 6, 7 different residence fires, how do you handle all that as well? So even though it looks like a lot of losses here, again, so far, from what we understand, no injuries, no loss of life. And, of course, firefighters just doing the best they can with what they have to work with, given the scale of this whole thing. Oh no, another house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, I'm going between 7 and 8 here. It's hard to keep up, but one house they thought they had done a pretty good job of keeping pretty in pretty good shape. We'll go ahead and tilt down and zoom on that. Now it looks like we have smoke coming from the roof of that as well. We did not see that a while ago, so it appears as though smoke in the attic of that one. We talked about perhaps these are wood shake roofs. We did see these go up pretty quickly when they did go. There is one home that they apparently saved. Only the roof went up. I say only. That's going to be catastrophic one way or the other. But it was not a grounder, as they say, and did not burn completely down. In contrast, take a look at those that were very close to this apartment when it caught fire, and they are still blazing away. We'll go ahead and come around to the other side of the smoke, not much of which is coming from the apartment anymore. And you can see a couple of houses there that are going to be, I imagine, total losses. In fact, if you look carefully, we don't see much water going on those now at all. Firefighters probably now trying to ration their resources and get on the fires, they think, where they can save something. That house in the ground looks like it could be a complete loss. In contrast, the one to the right, well, I don't know if we have any firefighters at that one either. We'll come back around and show you the one house, and we'll continue panning right here. At the end of a cul-de-sac, the one house we saw that it did look like they saved, at least with, well, I don't want to say only, but with the roof damage there, you can see in the center of the screen, we don't see much smoke coming from that anymore at all. That's about a quarter of a mile away from the original fire, and as we pull back and look now down below, closer to 115th, 116th and Neiman, you're going to see yet another house that is on fire. They had a lot of smoke coming from that a couple of minutes ago. Now it looks like they may be making some progress getting it under control. Back to you. Okay, we'll come back around to the right, take a look at those. Up and to your left,